And it's in the replay system. Nice. This is pretty cool. Our first replay system VOD, or well, no, second maybe, that we've had here on the stream. Exciting stuff.
There was one last time, I think, as well, yeah, where you recorded it with the replay.
Nice. Okay, so let's see here. We're playing Ash. Am I seeing this right? Yes, we're playing Ash. We're already on points. Okay, we go back a little bit. Nice.
Round 1. Capture the objective.
So now we can actually see the enemy team and our team without people having to press tab. This is actually amazing. I don't have to time my pauses with people pressing tab anymore. Oh my goodness. How technology has brought us forward. But okay, so we've got a triple DPS composition here with the solo healing Ana. And we're facing a Moira Lucio and McCree Hanzo Orisa Hog. So what would you say is going to be our number one focus here as an Ashe player against this team comp?
I mean, for starters, you're really going to be careful with where you peek. So you're going to be playing around the shield a lot because, at least in my mind, Hanzo has a pretty good advantage over Widow or Ashe, so hit scan heroes, in peeking, just because he can jiggle peek a lot more. He can fire without actually being around the corner, so it can be very dangerous to peek that. So you're looking to play a lot more around your Orisa. You're probably, when you're building Bob maybe a bit faster, you're looking to be the main contesting tool, but also just general pressure to force rotations, try and force out anyone being too overzealous. With maybe a Lucio goes for Reddit play, you can use your coach going to knock him off. In general, as well, it looks like you only really have one form of shield break, and that's you and your Hog. So 2, not 1. I can't count. But yeah, so you're also looking at quite heavily focusing on shield break as well.
Okay, so more shield break focus, not as much shooting other people. And I guess another very important thing to think about is utilizing dynamite together with your Orisa's halt. That's gonna give you a lot of ult charge, maybe even a kill or 2. They do have a lot of AoE healing though, with the Moira and the Lucio, so it might not get a kill from that alone, but at least a lot of ult charge, a lot of Bob, and a lot of Bob means you're gonna have a lot of point pressure, which is the goal of the game. You want to have that point for yourself as much as possible to get the percentage up. Yeah, okay.
I would also say, just maybe not as much, like you say, we're focusing on shield a lot more, but maybe putting a shot on somebody and letting your Genji or Sombra know so they can follow up and maybe secure the kill. You're obviously not playing a dive comp, but you're playing dive DPS, so you want to utilize your dive DPS as much as you can.
Indeed, very good point. So we are probably going to lose the shield break war. So shooting shield, especially with your limited ammo, if you waste too many of your shots onto the Orisa shield, you're mostly gonna be using that good opportunity where you have time to maybe hit some shots for reloads, which is not what you really want to do. And they have the Hanzo, amazing shield break with Storm Arrow. McCree, the new McCree that shoots like a machine gun.
Melts shield.
Yeah, so we're gonna need to watch out for this. But let's see what happens. We also only have a solo healing Ana, so might need to make use of some health packs. Play a little bit safer than usual. So yeah, good, we're not focusing the shield. Trying to find some off angles here. Really good dynamite. Fast reaction with the coach gun as well.
Genji dash straight through the McCree. Also, a quick thing just on that first one. I'm not sure if it's going to be a consistent problem or just kind of a one-off thing. Don't be afraid to let your dynamite go completely, until the end of its fuse, because yes, shooting it is kind of cool, and a lot of the time detonating early is going to get you the most value. But if you're detonating it before it really gets in range of anyone, don't be afraid to just let it go. A lot of the time I'm giving advice saying don't be know that you can shoot it, but it's clear you know you can shoot it, so don't be afraid to just let it go the whole way. It's kind of like finding a balance between, how far can I, almost so, you know, sometimes it's worth shooting it, sometimes it's actually better to just let it go, depending on the range you're throwing it.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, we did manage to find a pick, but unfortunately, some of our teammates were already dead, so that pick doesn't really mean anything in the grand scheme of things. Okay, so we pop a really early Bobby here. Which only deals a little bit of damage to shield, and then not much else.
I've got a pick.
Got a pick. Did.
Nice
Oh.
coach gun.
Nice coach gun and dynamite. That
Nice
was
dynamite. He's carrying right now, dude. He's fracking.
yeah. Some solid gameplay. Another good dynamite.
See that though? Like, we shot the dynamite and it was just in front of the shield, so it didn't really do anything to the people behind it.
Didn't it hit the Orisa? I think it did.
No, it was burning the shield.
Oh.
The Orisa maybe poked in front of it.
Yeah, no, it definitely hit the Orisa.
Oh, okay, fair enough then. Never mind. Though.
Oh, are we alive? No. So close. So close.
Yeah, I was.
Let's clean up this mess.
Alright, okay, see ya later, Tolinho.
So yeah, it's a tip for everyone actually. The kind of thing about the dynamite though, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do something.
That's true. That's true.
Oh wow, this round has went very quickly. Oh, you want a Bob? Oh.
Could have maybe contested it for a little while, but they had a bunch of ults coming up. Very difficult game to win here. And to be honest, very well played from the Ashe. Not a lot of things that she could have done differently to make
I mean,
this
aside
game
from
winnable.
standard things you see around, you said this guy was gold, right?
I think so. Let's see.
Oh,
Did he say anything in the... He didn't choose a... No, diamond, sorry. He's actually diamond.
well, I mean,
Fine.
I wasn't saying anything about his gameplay. I was just going off what you were saying. But
Yeah.
like even up to even in Masters, I see this where it's you know, especially Diamond is probably where I mostly see it because people at that point are kind of like, I'm Diamond, I'm good by myself. I don't need to listen to my team. But in reality, you know, a lot of the time your team is just staggering itself out, and you're also contributing to that stagger as well. So,
Yep.
you know, being like making sure you're calling for resets, making sure you're being a part of resets yourself. That was one of the major things I saw.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Recognizing that even if you get a bunch of picks, in some situations those picks will mean absolutely nothing for the actual outcome of the game.
Is the fight actually winnable, or are you just optimistic?
Yeah. And that's a really hard call to make, to be honest.
There are people in 4.5k that can't make that call.
Yep. Okay, so more Ashe, but now we actually have Ryan's Zarya. No, wait, solo healing Moira. Okay. So, what we can see at the start here, our Moira is most likely going to be... Oh, wait, no, never mind. Our Zarya swapped to Ana. So, that was... it completely makes my point moot. And will probably be fine. But our Ryan is going to have huge troubles being aggressive or finding value of his own. So a lot of it hangs on the DPS heroes now to find value. So you need to kind of, even if you don't really communicate, just using this Reinhardt as bait, kind of. You want the enemy team to go into your Reinhardt while you take some better sightlines here, maybe even go left or right, so that you can find some headshots. That will probably be my call right here. You can also make use of your coach gun to set up on like high grounds up here, or maybe even set up on the elephant, which is kind of okay as long as these guys don't really see you.
I would also say that well, it's like what you were saying, where you're kind of using a Reinhardt as bait. I would say you actually, in this situation, you kind of play almost like a double sniper bunker, in that you're not using your tanks to buy space, you're using your DPS to buy space, like your snipers in that case. But in this situation, you're making them back off by pressuring their front line with the snipers, because, well, the reason it works in Devil Sniper is obviously you can't really shield from two directions, so you kind of have nowhere to go but back towards a choke where you can shield both at once. In this scenario, I'm not quite sure that you're going to have the same effect, but you'll have a similar effect with your Mei, so at the very least you can put a lot of pressure on them, force them to make a lot of, these unfavorable decisions of like, do I shield my backline from the Mei or the Ashe?
Yeah, exactly.
But you're not relying on your Ryan to open up your space, as you maybe would in a standard 2-2 comp.
Yeah, so that means the biggest mistake we can make here is like playing behind our shield and playing safe. We need to open up angles, we need to play sightlines and put pressure on the enemy team. Otherwise, this poor Reinhardt is just going to get run over and there's not a lot we can do about it unless we hit like a crazy amount of headshots. But by opening up the sightlines and taking some flanks, or we're gonna apply pressure on the enemy team just by being there. We don't even need to hit shots. They're just gonna, oh shit, there's an Ashe over here. She's gonna get good sightlines. We need to deal with her, and that by itself will relieve pressure from your Reinhardt and the rest of your teammates.
I'll say as well, it's the healer duo they have. It's not necessarily ideal for an actual composition, but for a situation like this, it's actually very good because, I mean, Onanade and Moira healing is basically like a mini Transcendence. There's so much healing behind it. You can, especially with the Ana heals on top of it, that Ryan is not going to die anytime soon.
Yep.
Although I don't think Sustain would really do it against the comp the enemy has because they have a hell of a lot of burst damage.
Definitely. So yeah, gotta go for headshots, gotta go for the squishes, and try to finish them off that way. But okay, let's see what happens. We're going for a really early dynamite that will only kind of hit the Reinhardt. And they also have Zarya, so going for the early dynamites is definitely a bad idea when they have Zarya. She can easily cleanse it. You want to wait for that great opportunity where you can find a squishy.
Then McCree just walked in the back line. Nah, but yeah, that doesn't happen. That entire situation doesn't happen if like you're playing on the high grounds, like you're playing in sight lines rather than behind the Rhine, because the McCree wouldn't be able to see you on the high ground, so you can't exactly flank and kill you, and then you actually have better positioning than him, and you can just put a lot more pressure on him without him being able to really do anything about it.
Indeed. Ooh,
That's
that hurts.
unfortunate. That's a nice shot by the Hanzo. Yeah, the Reinhardt's really getting destroyed without Zarya though. That's unlucky.
Yep. That's usually what happens here in comp when you get these unbalanced compositions. And especially if people don't know how to play around this imbalance. Like, of course you see those games with like 6 DPS where you just roll over the enemy team. Because the DPS players know how to play and know how to play around a lot of DPS, and the enemy team inversely doesn't know how to play around a lot of DPS. And in this situation, recognizing that that playing behind the shield is not gonna amount to anything is the main focus.
For sure. I actually kind of like this one, not gonna lie. It's an interesting one, and I can see why a lot of people wouldn't, but if he can get closer, he's going to provide a much more pressure to the enemy Reinhardt, maybe force out bubbles earlier, like taking that advantage from the enemy.
Yeah.
But at the same time, McCree does play much more heavily around the enemy, your friendly Ryan shield. So it's kind of like a trade-off where you're forcing yourself into an unfavorable position, but you're giving your team a chance to maybe mitigate one of the advantages the enemy has. Or at least get rid of the advantage early.
Nice.
Nice. Combo. Nice early high.
It's actually so insane that you can fit in 2 shots in one flashbang stun now. Okay, countering the shatter. The high noon. Going for max shield break. Nice.
That's actually really well played.
Yeah, really well played.
Yeah, I really like this swap suddenly.
A really smooth aim though, not really flicking a lot, more like a the Widowmaker aim style where you kind of track and then do small correction flicks.
It's hard to, we've seen it a lot even today where it's like people will try and flick just because like it's
cool.
fancy and it looks nice, it's cool. But also, especially on McCree, it's quite almost instinctive to try and flick
Yeah.
rather than track and then correct. But tracking and correcting is just definitely the way to go to consistently hit shots. Like what I was saying to the Ana,
Yeah.
rather like try and line up your shots when you're playing the likes of Widowmaker, Ana, even Hanzo to an extent. But with McCree, you're probably going to be. Yeah, this is a really fast high noon.
Indeed.
One fight. Pressure.
So yeah, they're opening up a lot of angles here on us. Nice, pressuring the Ana.
Oh, that's just unfortunate. Just
Yeah.
giving a quick 180 flick to see where people are before you do things like that.
And we did also get a glimpse of the Hanzo going through main. He was shooting us from
Yeah.
main, so should have
The
definitely
team's winning
been.
it though.
Oh, yeah, team is definitely popping off
Also-
right now.
Somehow Ryan was 1 HP with those healers. Junkrat with a 3k as well.
Yeah, nice swap to the McCree. Some pretty good aim. Just not the spatial awareness of what's going on all the time.
Oh, this should be good. Zarya, a hero I'm very, very well versed in.
Oh,
I would actually say that probably my most coached hero is probably Zarya.
nice. And I'll let you take over here.
Maybe not take over, but... Okay, well, start with very, very early bubble usage.
Yep.
I almost
Did get
always
80
say
charge
to,
though.
I almost always say to ignore charge. You play pretty much all for utility.
Yeah.
With that said, he's 100 charge. He's just got 3 kills. You can't really complain. But if I was going to give any advice, it would be just maybe ignore your charge for the first fights, especially neutral fights. Ignore your charge. You will build it over time. Just look to keep your Ryan alive as much as you can. Body boss bubble, nice.
Yeah, so far so good. Already 44% to a grab.
I'm playing May Goats, yeah? No, I'm playing May Junkrat. Nice wall. Alright, decent bubble, but again we're bubbling really, really early.
Yeah. Nice, going aggressive, realizing he has the bubble, he has the charge advantage, can take that trade.
I like that he's not pushing the choke very much.
Yeah,
He's really, really patient about the choke. He knows the fire has an advantage through that. But yeah, I would say you'll really be a bit more strict with your bubble usage because you're really using it to you're scared to drop below 80 energy.
yep. And there you go. That's the cost
had a
of
bus-
bubbling too early.
If you had a personal, that could have saved his life.
Yep.
Very fast graph charge though. And now it's the enemy team's turn to play 3 DPS.
Yeah, so what would you try to look for now that you soon have a grab? Or pausing right here.
Well, I mean, I would be pressing tab, see what the enemy team comp is. And the biggest thing I'm looking for when I play Zarya or that I get my players to look for is going to be, how can they mitigate this with any ultimate? How can they mitigate this? What are they going to try and do to stop this from getting as much value as I want it to get? Well, they don't really have too much defense-wise. They have a Valkyrie that won't really sustain for long, but they could maybe try and hold on a high ground and force us to rotate to the high ground, for example. So what can I do to mitigate that? Well, I can maybe communicate with my Junkrat to try and concussion mine them off the high ground or something like that. But I'm just looking for ways to kind of basically negate as much of their defensive tools as I can.
Mm-hmm.
And thinking, what tools do they have? They may have shadow. If I'm talking without the UI, I could be thinking they may have shadow. They may try and shadow this out of this. So I'm gonna save my bubble to let my Reinhardt swinging it. Just things like that. Not only just how can I use the graph, but how can I maybe use my cooldowns to enable my team to follow up.
Yeah, indeed. Definitely good points. And since they're playing like Farah Mercy and probably having a Hans on the high ground, maybe even the Ana on the high ground as well, it's gonna be hard to find a very effective like path to grab. But what we can do to force the enemy team to get a little bit closer and kind of group up on their own so that you can get a fat grab is to just immediately go to point, play around point, and force them to rotate to get closer to you. Because if you just try to take the fight outside here, the Farah Mercy is going to be up in the sky, like the Hanzo Ana is going to be up on the high ground, and it's going to be real hard for you guys to be able to touch them or even put any pressure on them at all.
Another thing, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of solo grab.
Yes,
A pick, especially in ranked, can outright win fights.
for sure. Like if you manage to solo grab, like maybe the Ana or the Reinhardt, if he gets too close, like if the Reinhardt overextends, just solo grabbing him and letting your Reinhardt like pin him into a wall close to you guys can definitely open up enough space for you guys to cap the point and play from there. Let's see what happens.
And the point is why you want to be playing versus that comp as well, because you know that far outside is just going to be free farming you. Like, see, she got like 4 or 5 free rockets on you before you even touch the point.
Yep.
So you're just keeping an eye on the far. You're getting to the point as quickly as you can, and then that's when you're going to start to want to take a fight there. But take the fight on your terms. Don't be afraid of like holding, or don't be afraid of holding back from fighting until you're ready for it. Playing slow is not playing bad, I guess is the best way to word that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, if you want to get some initial charge right here, you can tell your teammates that you just want to go for charge bubbles and then wait for your next set of bubbles before you actually do the attack. Now we managed to get to the point at least. Okay, so we're solo grabbing the Ana. We managed to catch the Mercy in it as well, so that's perfect.
I actually really like that graph, but again, just kind of questionable.
Yep. Bubble usage.
Cooldown usage, bubble usage, yep. Also, we can't hear comms, but I'm really hoping he called that he was going to grab that.
Yeah,
Like, desperately hoping.
Okay, so we get to see it again.
He knew we'd be focusing on it.
Yeah. Yeah, so like the reason this fight goes so badly, like the Reinhardt is actually completely alone here. And he got nanoed when he was antied, so he didn't get the healing. And your Reinhardt has full HP and can be super ultra aggressive right here. So there's no point in you bobbling at all here, because the Reinhardt is forced to hard shield. He can't do shit other than hard shield right here. So like saving bubbles for actual important moments is gonna be really 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 important. And same thing with your solo or with your self bubble here. Like you use it, I guess it does eat up the sleep dart, but
I mean, I would say that you could literally solo grab the Reinhardt though.
Yeah.
You solo grab the Reinhardt, he's dead, and then that's a fight one, because you have your main tank, they don't.
Unless the barrage comes in, but then you should have both of your bubbles ready. And
I mean, you still have shield, so you can block it and you're inside. So.
Yeah, block it with the shield, use both bubbles, and then blast him down with your left click.
Yeah.
Okay, we go back to McCree, but we're gonna have to touch point like right now. Maybe a tracer would have been better. We wanna move really fast. Unlucky.
Can I give him the most basic Zarya tips that everybody knows?
Okay.
Right click before reloading.
Yes.
You get so much value out of it.
That's true, that's true.
It's free damage, so there's no reason not to do it. Just get into the habit of doing it every time. And it'll drastically increase your damage output.
Yep. Like you definitely want to right click. Like the times where you want to right click is for like long range spam damage, for burst damage in between, like maybe Ryan when he uses Fire Strike or something, you can get that extra burst damage in. And to kill people when you finish off targets, always go for the right click melees if you're close. Otherwise, right click is just fine. And Well, I guess to get out of spawn faster. That's also a way you can use right click. If you right click your feet at the same time as you jump, you actually move quite a lot faster than just walking normally. Let's see. What other situations do you want to right click? I think that's it. Long range spam. But you do this, you jump, you right click, and you're actually gonna go real fast. It's a pretty neat trick. Yeah, burst damage to finish targets off. So we beam someone down a little bit, and then as we get close, when they're on, like now we're at 0 charge. Like it still does a lot of damage, especially if you're a high charge. You can pretty much right click melee someone at like 80% HP and they actually die. It's
You
insane.
can right click melee a tracer entirely. You can kill any 150 HP hero.
Yeah, it's insane. And just another small tip as well for when you grab, like right clicking and meleeing is actually it doesn't reduce the rate of fire of your right click at all. So if you just hold right click like this, it shoots at that rate of fire. But if you right click melee, it's the exact same rate of fire. So meleeing between right click is just free damage. So always do that, especially if you're close range in a grab. And you also want to do that those melees for the extra cleave damage. Real quick. No. Okay, let's see if I can grab a few bots.
I'm just looking up some exact damage values.
There we go. So yeah, just try not to melee before you right click like I just did. Then you waste damage.
Yeah, melee after.
Yeah, melee after. Yeah, I think that's it. When it comes to your Ash, recognize when you shouldn't be playing around shield and when you need to find value by playing the sidelines or taking some side angles because your front line is going to be weaker in some way. Take a look at your team, take a look at the enemy team, just real quick go and okay, they have Hanzo, Junkrat, like Roadhog, shit, they have a lot of shield break. We need to focus on something else because we probably won't be beating them in shield break. I guess other than that, like your mechanics, the cooldown usage on Ashe was actually really good. And McCree, what do we have to say about McCree?
Aiming style. The aiming style was. Wait, no, I said his aiming style was good. I'm forgetting things.
Yeah. His aiming style was decent.
I guess it was his general awareness when he was playing McCree.
Oh yeah. Tunnel visioning a little bit on the front line, and not keeping track of the flanks. I see.
Also, alternative uses for his flashbang, because he was often just using it for on squishies to get kills. But thinking about, forcing out cooldowns on the Rhine by flashing over his shield, things like that.
Yeah, indeed. That's a good point. But other than that, he was actually playing quite decent, well positioned behind the Rhine shield all the time, and did hit quite a lot of his shots.